Rassie has included 5 fly-offs in the Springbok squad to take on Wales, which begs the question, who should he play at fly-off against Wales in the lead up to Ireland? Now the 5 options that he's listed in the training squad is number 1, Handré Pollard, Manie Libbok, Sasha, Feinber-Mngomezulu, Jordan Hendrikse, and Sia Masuku. Now I do think this is a more complicated decision than what it presents on the surface. It's not just building depth or bloody new players, but it is the first and only warm-up game the Springboks have before the massive Ireland series. In this video, I'm going to go over who I think should be starting against Wales and give you my thought process behind that. And I'm also going to tell you who I don't think should start against Wales. As always, I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments, so let me know. Now, the first option we're going to look at from the Springbok training squad is Handré Pollard. Now, Handré Pollard is probably still the best fly-off that the Springboks have. He's proved over and over again that he has that BMT, that he can carry the Springboks to 2 world titles. He's just a clutch player. Now, he hasn't had a great season for the Leicester Tigers, but I do think Handré Pollard is just a little bit of a different beast when he puts on that Springbok top. Now, if you didn't know, Handré Pollard isn't eligible to play against Wales because it falls outside of the international break, and the Leicester Tigers haven't released him to be able to play against Wales. So yes, he is in the squad, but he isn't up for selection. He's just there for training purposes to teach these new guys probably the systems, how a Springbok fly-off should think, the game plan, and sort of the nuts and bolts to the strategy and the game plan behind that of the Springboks. Now, he probably will still start against Ireland, but this Wales test does give Rassie, especially in the fly-off position, a little bit of leniency. He can experiment with one of these new fly-offs, and I think if that test is successful, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rassie throw said fly-off into that Ireland series with potentially Handré Pollard on the bench. We know that Rassie loves to throw players into big situations to see how they're going to fare. Guys, just real quick, if you are enjoying this content, please just take a moment to absolutely mur that subscribe button. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers and we need you guys to join us. So Handré Pollard isn't an option for the Wales test, which leads us into our next fly-off, Manie Libbok. Now, whether you like or dislike Manie in the Springbok number 10 jersey, he still is a phenomenal fly-off. He's had a great season for the Stormers. We've seen his kicking accuracy be improved upon this season for the Stormers. He's all the way up to a 73% successful kicking rate. For the World Cup, he was somewhere around 65%. So Manie Libbok has definitely increased his kicking capability. He also provides X factor that maybe Handré Pollard doesn't quite provide. He's way stronger on attack than Handré Pollard is, but it all comes down to the kicking. We know that a Springbok fly-off needs to be able to kick. We need to be able to take those 3 points. Conversions are vital. And unfortunately for Manie Libbok, in their last game against Glasgow Warriors for the Stormers, it was a knockout game, a quarterfinal. Yes, the conditions weren't great, but Manie Libbok just capitulated before our eyes. He missed all 4 of his kicks, and had he made those kicks, the Stormers would have been leading for the majority of that game. So it just comes again down to, is Manie Libbok, does he have that BMT bone in him? Is he a clutch player? That quite simply a Springbok player needs to have, especially in that number 10 jersey. Now, I do have a little bit of a hypothesis for the Wales and Ireland game, and let me know what you guys think of this. But this is what my hypothesis says. If Manie Libbok starts against Wales, I do think there's a very high chance that he starts against Ireland. Rassie would only start Manie Libbok against Wales if he's going to be selected for that Ireland test. Now, for me, I think a different fly-off should probably start against Wales to, like I said, blood them, to sort of give them that experience. And if they perform well, throw them into the deep end against Ireland. But if Manie does start, I'm almost 90% sure he's going to start against Ireland. So let me know what you guys think of that hypothesis. That's just some of the thinking that I've had behind the scenes. Our next fly-off is Jordan Hendrikse. Now, Jordan Hendrikse is a very interesting case. He's only 22 years old. He's a very talented rugby player, and we've seen him sort of slot into that 12 position for the Lions on a couple of occasions. And on those occasions, I've been very impressed with Jordan Hendrikse at 12, maybe even more so than at 10. I think Sanele Nohamba was a far better 10 than him this season for the Lions, and I'm kind of shocked that Sanele Nohamba wasn't added to this training squad. Yes, he did get concussed and knocked out about a week or 2 weeks ago, but there was no mention of him being excluded from the squad because of that injury. I just don't think Rassie chose him. Now, the positive thing for Jordan Hendrikse is that he does provide that utility that Rassie Erasmus loves so much. He can play 10, he can play 12. I'm pretty sure he can even play 15. For me, I just don't think Hendrikse is going to be in the team against Wales. I think he's so young, and Rassie Erasmus is trying to sort of build him into the 2027 World Cup. So I don't think Jordan Hendrikse is going to play a part in the Wales game, in the Ireland series. Maybe they'll throw him in the Rugby Championship, probably against Portugal. But I think Rassie Erasmus has sort of seen him like, let's try and develop him over the next couple of years, and then maybe he can be an option for the 2027 World Cup. So if Handré Pollard's not playing, I don't think Manu Leborg's playing, and I don't think Jordan Hendrikse is going to start at that number 10 position. Who do I think is going to start at that number 10 position? Well, it comes down to two players, Sasha Feinber-Mngomezulu and Sia Masuku. Now, let's just start with Sasha. Sasha is one of the upcoming talents in South African rugby, and dare I say that he has the attributes to make him a once-in-a-generation type of player. He has a similar game style to Damian Willemse. He is Damian Willemse-esque. So he can play 10. He played 10 at school. He played 10 for Western Province. We've seen him slot into that inside center position for the Stormers, and then Damian Willemse plays 15. But Sasha can play 10, 12, or 15. So it does, again, give Rassie Erasmus some utility there. He is still very young, 22 years of age. Yes, he was a little bit injured throughout this season, but Sasha is a very, very capable number 10. Do I think Rassie Erasmus is going to play him at 10 against Wales? Probably not, and I'll tell you why. Because Damian Willemse is injured, which means we don't have a number 15. Willie Leroux is not eligible to play against Wales because he's busy competing in the URC with the Bulls, which means that there's a little bit of a gap in that 15 position. Yes, obviously Kieran Horn's in the squad, Apelele Fassi's in the squad, but I think Rassie is probably going to play Sasha Feinber-Mngomezulu in that number 15 position to sort of try him out. We saw him move Damian Willemse from 10 or 12 at the Stormers to 15. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rassie Erasmus sees it the same way that he saw Damian Willemse when he came into the Springbok squad, which means that I think Sia Masuku is probably going to start against Wales. Now, Sia Masuku's rise this season has been absolutely astronomical. The Sharks were in a dismal position. He didn't play. He wasn't on the bench for the first 10 URC games this season. Then he replaced Kerwin Bosch and kind of turned the Sharks season around. He led them to a Challenge Cup trophy. He has X factor. He has the kicking game. He has the attacking game. He has the defensive game. Sia Masuku is the entire package. And he is the most informed fly-off that we have that can wear a Springbok jersey against Wales. And even dare I say he's in better form than Handré Pollard. So I think the Wales test is a perfect opportunity to test Sia Masuku at 10. He's cool, calm, and collected in a Sharks jersey. Let's put him in a Springbok jersey against Wales, which is normally quite a difficult game because our game plans are very destructive towards each other. They're not complementary. So it's going to be a pretty boring game. There's normally a lot of kicking, and you have to be patient in that number 10 jersey against Wales. So what my thinking is let's test Sia Masuku in that 10 position against Wales. If he performs incredibly well, chuck him in for an Ireland test. Let's really test him and see if he could be the fly-off to lead us into the 2027 World Cup. Obviously, Handré Pollard is still in the mix there, but I'm very, very excited to see what Sia Masuku can do in a Springbok jersey next weekend. So those are my thoughts. Let me know exactly what you guys think. If you haven't, please absolutely move that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.